brother and I are not from your planet.
Well, you don't look like aliens.
What does an alien look like?
You know what aliens look like? They're like little green people with antennas that take me to your leader, Earthlings. Oh.
So, The Rock is no longer The Rock.
No, he's officially Dwayne Johnson.
Which he's actually been trying to do. But now he's mixed race to Witch Mountain.
You know, that's actually kind of good. I'll give you that one.
I was going to say race out of Race to Witch Mountain. But
I like the way he's decided to be Dwayne Johnson in Race to Witch Mountain. Like this is some like serious art film that he's done right here.
Now,
Well, he's been Dwayne Johnson in a couple of films,
quite a few
actually.
now.
But
So his name is owned by.
his name's
Well,
owned
but
by the
Vince
WWF,
McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Again, it's just like China, like all those wrestlers. Vince McMahon owns those names.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just like the biggest like scam ever. That whole wrestling world. None of those guys own anything of their characters, which
Right.
is why they all go poor.
That's why Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hogan. for a
Okay,
while.
so it's good. It's a good thing. Like The Rock didn't come back try to be like the Boulder or
Well,
some shit.
if you notice, his name was The Rock on so many movies. If you go back and look at executive producers, Vince McMahon is an executive producer on
That's
most
right.
of those films because he had a piece of that and used the name.
So Dwayne Johnson is the actor. The Rock is Vince McMahon's bitch.
Yes. And that's why he wants to be Dwayne. And when
Gotcha.
you look like that, you can be Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, when
Because
you're-
Dwayne Johnson sounds like a kid who got his ass kicked in high school.
When your name is Dwayne Johnson, that's what happened, and there's a reason that dude is fucking huge.
Well,
Well, it also helps if your mom is Samoan.
I was about to
and they
say.
tend to be big people.
yeah, motherfucker Samoan, what you gonna do?
yeah, like his mom looks like The Rock in a dress. No, so he's in. We're talking about how big and scary he is, but he's in a children's film.
Yeah, so he's a big teddy.
He's
bear.
being cuddly here.
Yeah.
Well, he plays freaking the transporter, for fuck's sake. He's the
Well.
transporter with a cab. He's not nice in this movie. He's a big ass beater with a car that just happens to have two kids with him.
Well, it's funny because I mean, no matter he could change his name to Big Cuddly Bear or whatever. I mean, he's gonna always in every movie. It's guaranteed he's gonna beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, well, that's what you get him for.
Yeah,
When you
exactly.
get a guy with like forearms like that unless he's going to beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he could be Jesus in a movie. He's still gonna whoop somebody's ass. And now he's in Race to Witch Mountain, and this is a remake of a Disney classic. I mean, I don't even remember when the movie came out. It was like the
It
'70s
was in
when
the
it came.
70s.
Oh,
What's
yeah, it
weird
was
is
the
they were
early
marketing
70s.
this as not a remake, but a sequel. Like, oh, this takes place after. But no, I'm sorry.
No,
I saw these not too long ago. This isn't a sequel.
Well, no, what they're trying to do is separate it from the other films
Yeah.
so that they can sell a box set for the family so that the kids can sit down and watch a whole bunch of alien movies from the 70s and the one with The Rock.
Very true.
Well, so you had Escape to Witch Mountain, right? And you had Return to Witch Mountain,
Right.
Yeah.
And now they got this
Ghost of Witch Mountain.
Yeah, you know.
How about Costello visit Witch Mountain?
Witch Mountain versus Mothra or something, whether it's a sequel or whatever. We have Dwayne Johnson, who is a cab driver.
Which we have established, yeah.
Yes, and so you can tell that he's hiding from some past because he lives in a really shitty hotel that can't even afford water for the swimming pool.
And this is in the middle of Vegas, where everything else is, lavish, and he's living in shithole,
Yeah.
shithole suburb of Vegas.
By himself, hearing people have sex next door. He's boxing his punching bag, taking out his frustrations instead of masturbating. So he,
Yeah, so he's already clearly screwed up.
yeah, exacty. Yeah, his head ain't right.
Yeah, clearly your head was in the right place for this children's movie.
I'm just saying, if he wouldn't be so angry if he just like touch himself every now and then. But now he's going on along one of
You
his
hear that,
jobs, and so these two kids just appear in his car one day. Literally.
Yeah.
And they start they act like they're on drugs or something. They're talking in very straightforward talk and looking at each other.
Did you
in
mention he
crazy
was a
ways.
cab driver?
What's that?
Because I don't think you did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you? Speaking of aliens,
What the hell am I?
exactly.
What is this?
You know this is Earth,
This
right?
is not my beautiful wife.
And they start doing weird shit. I mean, they start like making the car move by itself. One kid just teleports out the car and just makes another car crash into him, and the kid doesn't even budge. And it's pretty clear. And both these kids are very blonde too. So it's either these are aliens or these are children from Germany or some shit.
Yeah.
So they now
They're aliens or Aryans. We can't figure it out.
either way it goes, it's fucked up. So
There's a cab driver. Aliens appear in his car, say, we need to go somewhere. He gets caught up in a wild adventure trying to protect these kids from the FBI and an alien bounty hunter.
Yeah.
that is it, man.
That's the movie.
See,
That- yeah.
and it is. I mean, the question is, okay, so why would these super powered, and I mean
Yes, I know
super
where you're
fucking
going.
powered kids, they can do everything, and yet for some reason they need the fucking Rock.
You figure like, okay, these kids, they need him to drive them places. The Rock, he drives a cab, they need a ride. But then the girl can make the car move by itself.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing. Like, why the fuck do they need him?
They don't.
because-
At no point do they need him.
Because this has always been the plot of all these movies.
Yes.
Powerful alien kids come to Earth and need adult supervision. That's always been the plot of these freaking films.
Because you got the little boy, like the little boy gives the Rock like $15,000, and you figure the little girl would be like, "What the fuck would you do that for? We could have like teleported everywhere and saved the money for ourselves."
Well, I mean, see, now you're starting to overthink a Disney afternoon film, because the problem here is that they can read his mind at every point, but the point at which he needs to say something important and teach them a valuable lesson, because then they can't read shit.
But he doesn't even really do that. There are no real valuable lessons in this film. It'd be fine if they were missing some important human component of emotion, but they're not, except for the ability to act.
I'm simply referring to moments like, here's $15,000. Is that enough?
Yeah.
When she can scan his mind and go, how much should we give him to make sure he doesn't freak the fuck out and follow us into our secret underground lair?
Yeah, you have to pick the most curious and dumbest cab driver in Las Vegas.
And then the most honest. I mean,
Well, yeah. Have you ever heard of a cab driver go, "Hey, you tipped me too much"?
right. That never happens.
No, it is especially with these kids. I mean,
But he's The Rock.
and these kids,
And The Rock loves kids.
And this is a Disney movie.
And these kids explain that they're on a mission from their home planet because their parents got put in jail. So the kids decide to take up the mantle and come to Earth and do a bunch of research
Yeah,
and
there's
shit.
something about their home planet will invade our planet unless they get this technology back from our planet and bring. You know what? What fucking difference does it make?
And they don't explain shit. Now, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't ask too much because the Rock starts following these kids around and then they find a shack. And they go into this shack, and first of all, you're thinking, well, where'd this shack come from? But it gets deeper. Within this shack is like a hidden giant nostril or something, because there's a snot cave in there.
Yeah.
And they don't explain anything. It just bubbles of snot with technology in it, and these kids get in there, take it, and then that's when the assassin shows up.
I love that. They're like, we got to be careful. We've had to be careful about getting here because we know this assassin from the other universe is following us. So we've been really careful, except for maybe shutting all those doors behind us.
Because they're being chased by a poor man's predator.
Yeah, but even so, he's so
he
incompetent.
probably wasn't
Okay.
even one of the real predators.
That's
He's like
true.
one of the predators that was a scrub who was like the water boy for the other predators.
Now, don't you make fun of that washout from the Sci-Fi Channel, because he was trying in this movie. He was giving it
looked
his
so-
all. He was the Guyver.
He looked so bad. And they kept like panning up his suit, showing you a little bit of time, but never his face. You're like, ooh, dude, he's going to look badass when they finally show his helmet. But no. He wasn't
Yeah,
a real
yeah.
assassin, though, because they never really get to that point where he goes back to his crummy hotel room and they have a voiceover where he's going, I never wanted to do this for a living. Somehow it just sucks you in.
Or he's like thinking, damn, I must suck because these little motherfuckers keep kicking my ass. These two kids right here.
Now,
Go ahead.
yeah, look, I really like this movie. I thought it was a fun, matinee, stupid film. It is flawed as hell. It reminded me of the originals. The originals aren't very good.
No, okay, you're right. They aren't very good, but anybody who saw them as a kid loved them.
Sure, and I
yeah.
think kids are going to love this. My major problem is that it is so cliche ridden that you run into elements that you're like, wait, what the hell is that for? There's a moment where they're like sneaking into a base and they find themselves in a giant tube that they shoot flame up for no apparent reason except that, oh my God, we have to get down this ladder quick and get into the next chute. It's like, why would somebody build that? It was the classic Star Trek problem of here we have these devices that we create that only serve a purpose to put our characters in danger and they make no fucking sense whatsoever and the movie's filled with them.
Honestly, I can't believe this movie wasn't in 3D, because if there's any movie it reminded me of, it was the 3D Journey to the Center of the Earth, because it just had these set pieces where it's like, okay, now we run to this part of the ride, now we run to this, and I mean, that's the only thing that would have made it somewhat tolerable is to go through, okay, well, hey, the 3D's cool, and I really feel like fire or laser beams are coming at me, but as it is, it's just kind of an empty experience of just a bunch of go here, go here, go here.
Yeah, well, the movie feels like a science fiction or a sci-fi channel movie. I mean,
It looks like one.
Except they put like maybe an extra $10 on some special effects here and there, but for
Hey,
the
now,
most part,
that's not true.
Yeah, what
Did you
about
see
the
the bullet
bullet
sequence?
scene?
Oh my god! see, Cyrus was complaining about the effects all the way through, and I thought, oh man, they don't look that bad.
Yes,
but that
they
scene with the bullets, holy
wow.
shit!
That would have been shit even for the science fiction channel.
That would
yeah.
be shit if you saw it on YouTube.
I
That's
mean-
one of those
and-
things that it's like, oh, cute effect, jackass.
That would have been shit in 1985.
oh yeah, no,
No,
there's
no,
a scene in the-
it looked like Monty Python animation where it's just like bullets cut out of magazines and use After Effects. And just
Oh
kinda
yeah,
float
no,
them
no,
in.
that's true. What they're talking about. There's a scene in the movie where these kids protect. Well, I mean, we already seen there's a bullet scene. People are like, what's a bullet scene? So I'm just saying there's a scene where these kids protect everybody from getting shot from a bunch of soldiers. And when you see these effects, now if it was in fast motion, it'd be like, oh, big deal. But it's going so slow that you see every little bad effect that happens.
You can see halos around the pixels.
It was almost like you could see somebody like drawing an explosion and erasing it and drawing that shit again.
It's like the motion version of Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where even old grandmas are sitting there going, "This is so fucking."
And it's almost like the guys who were being shot, the Rock and the kids, and they're all like wrenching at it. It's almost looking like, damn, these are some ugly ass looking effects. but
That makes you wonder why they're running from these guys the whole time. They've got hundreds of guys firing guns at them, and without so much as a Jean Grey nosebleed, they stop the bullets. Like, why didn't you do that a half hour
Well,
ago?
Cyrus, back it up from there. Why are the people who want to capture them all walking around with machine guns?
Okay, let's back it up from there and get to the point where it's like, why do these people have magical computers that can pull up a frame of video that can find them in like 10 seconds, but if they turn a corner, they're lost for good?
I was gonna say they have Google God apparently, and why did only the alien bounty hunter had that technology?
Oh man! And, I mean, as much as I complain about Enemy of the State, this puts that to shame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, all right, how many cameras you got in Las Vegas? About 3,000. Okay, I need you to look at every last one of them until you find a blur of these little kids. Tick, tick, tick. Got it. What?
Oh, and here's them getting into a cab.
I mean, well, damn.
3,000 cameras that fast?
Yeah, no. If you're gonna go, what's wrong?
He's like, and then, but
Oh no, I'm not right. No,
We're all
I mean,
so
you're
excited.
making points. No, because I mean, it is. It's like we're realizing just how much this doesn't make sense. The more you get into it, because I mean, really, you could have just had a movie where you didn't need any of this. It could have been about two little kids who came down. The moment somebody started shooting at them, they said, fuck it. Their eyes start glowing, and they just suddenly turn into Mars attacks, and they destroy the hell out of Las Vegas. I mean, come on. They're indestructible, and they shoot fire bombs from their hands. Who's going to mess with them?
What's really going to bake your noodle is when you ask yourself, why did they take the dog with them if they were never going to show him on camera?
I know. And then suddenly he's back at the end. You're like, hey, where did you put the dog when you were
Take care of
invading Witch
Junkyard.
Mountain?
Why? We haven't been taking care of him for the last hour.
Yeah. Shit. I mean, that's another thing about this movie is it's a kids movie and it's extremely safe. I mean, they have they have two scenes in there that really stood out to me where any other movie they would have died. There's a scene where a guy is in a train, a conductor. He goes into a tunnel. He obviously crashed into something. There's a huge fiery explosion, and then you hear the soldier. The conductor, he's a little shaken up, but he got out with a little bit of a scratch.
I know. I know. He's expecting like, yeah, the conductor's fine. The 200 passengers, though, they're all over
they
the
got
place.
They're
fucked up,
fried
man.
to it, Chris.
And then there's another scene where one of the FBI agents, the head guy, he runs into a backyard where Junkyard, the dog, attacks him. Now,